Yeah, I'm always going to explore everything. But at the end of the day, really for me, as I said to you guys, I was never really too interested in one-year quarterbacks. I believe in doing due diligence. I don't believe in just, making statements and, so I always look at those. But I think it was really important to me that Chubba and Heinrich have earned the right to me to have a chance to go compete in the spring without someone coming in, that's a year ahead of them. So that was first and foremost. So we looked at some things, but didn't make any offers to anybody. We just wanted to stay kind of true to that message that we had really from the end of the year. Daniel Kalen's been loyal to us from the very beginning. We believe in Daniel. We believe in his skill set, his processing, how quickly he sees it. I love the fact that, even this past weekend he had opportunities and he just wants to compete and wants to be a Husker. That's, as I sat there and watched that show yesterday and they talk about Tommy Frazier and Brooks Behringer, just hey, I want to be here and I want to compete. And I appreciate that about him. And then, Dylan called last Sunday and just said, hey, Coach, my heart keeps telling me to come to Nebraska. Can I come take another look? And, I challenged him like, hey, make sure you're serious about this, because, I don't want this to be something that, isn't right for you. And he said, no, my life has greater purpose than just, being the top recruit. I know what Nebraska means to my family. I know what it's meant to me. And I'd like to come there. And so I think in the end, to have a player of Dylan's caliber, not his recruiting, but his caliber, his arm talent, his ability to see the field, but probably more than anything, his work ethic and how much he cares about the game. We obviously took that. So I feel great about our quarterback room. We've got 4 players that we believe in. With the young players, with the 2 freshmen, I think it's really important that they follow the right trajectory. It's not about coming in and scripting for success. It's about teaching them how to play quarterback the way we want our quarterbacks to play. And that's why I didn't want a quick fix. To me, I want to build this thing with guys who've been in the program, who learn our way of thinking, our way of seeing the field, our way of viewing defenses, our way of calling protections, our way of training. So I think as we move forward, everything will be earned, nothing will be given, but it'll be great competition. It'll be great learning and great development, and we have some pretty special players in that room.
Do you intend to keep that same apparatus around who teaches them how to play quarterback?
I'm not talking about that today, with all due respect. This is all about the recruits today. I'll probably, when I get back, if there's anything I'm going to do, I'll talk about it. But right now, this is just about the signees.
Does his ability change, the potential ceiling of what you guys can do on offense because he can throw the ball as far as he can and is accurate?
That's a great question. I think, when we think about who we want to be, right? We would love to be a diverse offense like the 49ers, kind of translated to college. And I think when you get players like Carter Nelson and, you get players, that are kind of positionless players, they allow you to do that. But part of that is the ability to stretch the field and throw the ball down the field. And so we want accuracy. We want guys who are going to protect the football. We love guys who can move, but at the end of the day, also the ability to push the ball down the field and throw the ball 55, 60 yards down the field, at times, and be accurate is something that helps those types of offenses. I think after spending a year, Sam, in the Big Ten and in the weather that we play in, having big quarterbacks with big hands who can spin the ball is vital. And so I think Dylan certainly gives us that. Seeing the throws he was throwing this year in high school, a lot of the same throws that we're going to ask him to throw, and he threw them really at a really high level. I had a chance to see him throw live last year as he practiced in high school, and so he's got arm talent. That not many people have. But again, this game comes down to way more than just arm talent. So to us, it's about just, teaching him the way that we see things, the way we process things so that he can play fast and play free. And it's the same thing we'll do with Daniel, and the same thing we'll continue to do with Heinrich and Chubba.
What about intangibles, Dylan Rhule? What do you see in intangibles-wise?
Well, it's hard for me to sit here and talk very much about a lot of these guys when, I've met them 3 times and 4 times, so a lot of it is secondhand. What I will say is any time in my past that I've had a chance to take a quarterback or take a player whose dad played, they usually understand. Usually they've grown up in a house where dad's been harder on them than they have been. When I was in the NFL, we drafted J.C. Horn, and talking about a first-round pick. his dad, Joe Horn, was one of the great players to play the game. He probably grew up after every game being told, yeah, you did that great, but. So, I think that, Dylan probably has a lot of intangibles that, I haven't met yet. What I've loved about Dylan is he loves football. He loves to talk football. He's unbelievably kind. You watch him at the basketball game the other day. He's taking pictures with kids and not in a selfish way, but in a caring way. It's the same intangibles I see with a lot of the guys that we have. We want to recruit really good people who love football. This is not a, hey, what's in it for me type place. You've got to come here wanting to be great at football, wanting to be great in the community, and wanting to be great in school. And your parents have to want that. You have to want that. I see all that from Dylan. Again, to me, it's just the beginning of a journey. This is not the end. This is the very, very, very beginning. And that's really, kind of my message to all the players is this is not a culmination. This is the start of something. So just take it day by day.
Hey Matt, what was last week like for you and your staff from in managing things at this quarterback position from the beginning and hearing from the Rhule family that they were again interested and at the time talking to a transfer or transfers and then managing the situation with Kalen. Just how did you navigate all of that?
Yeah, I think we try to be as honest as possible. As things come, you're talking in real time. I'm never going to apologize for bringing in good players, and I'm never going to apologize for bringing in competition. We live in a day and age now where everyone's trying to find the best situation. I think you should try to find the place where you can get developed the best because no one knows how things are going to work out. So as long as I'm not taking away your scholarship, I'm not going to apologize to you if I'm bringing in someone else. And I want players who want that. Like, I want to be the best, so I have to probably play with the best and compete against the best. And so that's why I respect Daniel so much for the decision he made. Obviously the thing with Dylan happened and it was really honest and transparent in terms of like transfer players and things like that. Sometimes you have to have difficult conversations. Sometimes the narrative out there is different than what's actually happening, and that can be difficult, right? Because, none of these young men ran from competition. No one said, hey, I don't want to go there. And I think some people were asking me that, and I felt bad about it. Really, at the end of the day, we made a decision. Like, hey, we're going to go young. We're going to go with the guys we have and the two freshmen and build. And so, I don't mind disappointing people. I hate it, but I just don't want anyone ever to say I lied to you, right? So we try to be honest and say, hey, here's how we see it. Here's how we see things. Sometimes people disagree with it. It's hard at quarterback because only one can play. But you know what? There's going to be a lot of quarterbacks that went in the portal that don't find places to go. And so, again, I always say, go somewhere where you're being developed. Go somewhere where you're growing as a quarterback, growing as a person. And you know what? Eventually, things happen. You'll have your chance to get on the field. And when you get on the field, crush it. We played 3 quarterbacks this year. And, I think the odds would say that most teams will probably play at least 1 or 2 moving forward.
Did you stay connected and keep those lines of communication open with Dylan?
Yeah, once Dylan committed to Georgia, I didn't recruit him anymore. I mean, I still would talk to him. When they came to the Michigan game, I hugged him. Good to see you, bro. How's things going? And I don't really recruit guys after they commit somewhere very often. I just kind of feel like, hey, it's that they're, I mean, I won't say no, not always. Sometimes I do, but I think in that decision, it was just sort of like, hey, go ahead. I appreciate it. Obviously he has a unique perspective in that, his uncle's on staff. So, everyone knows in recruiting, everyone is the same way every day. This year we started off 0-2. I was like, you kind of got to see us what we were like at 0-2. Then we won 3 in a row. Well, what are they like after they won 3 in a row? Then we kind of the yo-yo of the season. You could probably find out a little bit more about us from his uncle, like, hey, what are they like when things are going good, when things aren't going well? Again, that's why I point to the guys that want to come back and play their 6th year. Doesn't happen everywhere. So, but yeah, in terms of the relationships, I just, maybe he'd shoot me a text here, good win, coach, or something like that. But I'm really respectful of Georgia and Coach Smart's program. To me, this wasn't about Georgia. This was just about a kid that grew up a Husker fan that in his heart wanted to come back and be a Husker.
Matt, just a housekeeping question. Does Dylan then, from day one, does he compete for the starter's job here?
Yeah, everybody does. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's no, we're a team that started multiple non-scholarship players last year. Like, competition is king, so every player. Nothing's handed anybody. So, nothing's handed anybody.